Hello, and welcome again to Let's Talk. Hope you guys have had a good week. Hope it's been full of good experiences, learning experiences, as we come back and to talk, to hopefully learn, to grab a hold of some common sense that's not just regular common sense, but as I was looking at it, as I was thinking about this episode of Let's Talk, and I was thinking about where we were, where we've come, and I think of that first episode, which was just such a rough episode, and we've come a long way here in this show, and I was thinking about one of the things that I feel like I've left out of here. One of the things that I'm trying to do is just to show you, the viewer, that not only are the majority of Christ followers, of Christians, of people that go to church, we're not a bunch of religious, judgmental hypocrites running around just telling people what they can and can't do. We want to here show that we have common sense. We want to bring common sense back into the church, back into this country, and begin to see how common sense and Christianity and viewpoint can help us. And I feel like I kind of got away from the common sense, but we hope that the things that we talk about here help you see that we're not what you see in the media. And I feel like the media shows, and it doesn't really matter if you're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Tea Partyist, Christian, but they try to always show the most extreme, most out of it personalities. Maybe because it brings in better ratings. I don't know, but anyways, we want to show that we're just normal people. We do love Christ. We do want to follow Christ. We do want to share Him with others. And so I hope that through this you'll see that, hey, we're regular people, that this show is for those that follow Christ, those that don't. We talk about different things, things that may have come up in the week, things that I may just may be on my mind, and we talk about it. I read a lot of articles throughout the week, so different things jump out at me, and we try to put together a quality show each week, and we hope that you guys are enjoying it. And as we look at today's main topic is social media. It is everywhere. It is on your phone, it is on your computer, it is everywhere, in not just everywhere, but everyone's using it. Everyone. I was watching a special on CNN with my wife this week that we had recorded, The Secret Life of 13-Year-Olds, and I was floored. I don't have a 13-year-old. I have been out of youth ministry for many years now, so I haven't dealt with 13-year-olds. I have nieces that are 13, and they're good kids, and I kind of know what's going on there. But the aspect of how much social media they are using, they're on, how much social media affects everything in their life. But it's not just 13-year-olds, it's not just teenagers, it's young adults, it's adults, it's young mothers, and we look at it and we study it, and oh my goodness, it is. There are so many different outlets. There's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's Pinterest, and I think we need to come to a point of beginning to reel in and begin to start using common sense with our social media. I just jumped on Twitter, and I'll be honest, I really seem to be enjoying it so far. I signed up for it back when it first came out and really didn't use it then, so I have this really old name on there, my nickname, and I thought, well, maybe I could try to change it. I mean, I haven't gone by my nickname for years, but I said, oh well, who cares? It's an old nickname, people can get used to it. Scooter414. But as we look at this idea, and I love social media. I love Facebook. It's a place where I can keep up with old friends, college friends, a couple high school friends that I'd stay in touch with, see what's going on, see their families growing, and see them doing great things, or maybe they have a prayer request or something not so great has happened, and they decide to share it with people, and you know how to pray for them, and you know how to talk to them, and you can congratulate them. I just had a friend who got her first place. How exciting! How exciting! These are great things that we can celebrate with people, and yet there comes a great responsibility with social media, and maybe we're just in that kind of learning phase of what's acceptable, what's not, of kind of finding out. I read 2 or 3 different articles this week. Most of what I'm going to use in this talk comes from one main article, and I'll have it posted below so you can read the whole article. It's called Our Double Life, and I'll repeat that name at the end. But we need to talk about it. Those of us who are adults, those of us who are parents, those of us who are going to be parents someday, need to begin to have open discussions with kids and teenagers about it. But we really just need to begin to talk. And the thing that's beginning to happen with all of this... Oh, there goes a motorcycle. That was exciting. The thing we need to start is just talking to people. I think what social media has done, the side effect of it, is that we've stopped talking to people. We've stopped having real conversations. And we need to start doing that. If you go into a restaurant, you'll see people on their phones instead of talking to the people that they're with, telling them what they just saw on Facebook. And I hope to dive into some of that as we look at this. But let's just think about this for a minute. Like I said, kids and adults are beginning to feel all kinds of pressure from social media. And no wonder. Think about this for just a second. There's 80 million photos posted on Instagram a day. Facebook has 1.49 billion, that's billion with a B, active users per month. Twitter, 316 million active accounts. Tumblr, 230 million. Pinterest, 47.66 million unique visitors from the US alone. It is the fastest growing independent site in history. That's a lot of posts, pictures, sharing, bragging going on. You realize that teenagers told CNN that their whole social life could be ruined by one bad selfie? There was a girl they interviewed, 13 years old, who had a list of rules and would take over 100 selfies until finding the perfect selfie to post. Unbelievable. The amount of pressure to put up the perfect picture, to Photoshop it, to make it look good. For what? So people can say they like it? So people can think better of you because of a picture? Is that a picture should not determine who we are? A vlog, a video vlog should not determine who we are. We are losing perspective. We are beginning to let other people dictate how we live and how we do things. To the normal of what used to be normal is no longer normal. And parents of teenagers, I encourage you to learn the technology that your kids are using, to keep up to date on things that they are doing and really just being involved in your kid's life. I mean, isn't that what parenting is all about? Raising up a young child to become a young and teenager, and from a teenager into adulthood, and as parents it's our responsibility to guide, direct, and correct, and to help them mature and to help them learn how to deal with things in society. And maybe what's happening is with social media, we're forgetting how to teach. We've gone on auto cruise. We're so busy. Maybe it's time to scale back and begin to spend quality time with friends, neighbors. I'm so excited. I mean, just talking about quality time, I'm so excited. Here in a couple weekends, we're having a group of friends that we try to get together with once or twice a year over at our house, a get together. Not everybody could come, and that was sad, but we're going to get together. Their kids are coming. We don't have kids yet, but we should hopefully here in the next year and a half have a kid, and we're going to talk and we're going to have fun. We're going to enjoy each other's company. Yeah, we keep together on social, but there's so much pressure on social media today, and we begin to see this. And as we look at this, think about this. Social media users spend an exuberant amounts to look like their daily, everyday lives are spent eating the finest foods, wearing the most on-trend designs, and living stylish and well-appointed life with no problems. No wonder people are getting depressed, feeling lonely as other people are posting things and showing things. And Fagan recently ran a post titled "My Perfect Life on Social Media is Putting Me in Debt." The author went only by the name Jasmine. She wrote that my real life is actually pretty boring, but her 5,000 followers would never know that. I have a side of my apartment that I photograph, and it is perfect. The other side is always a mess, she wrote. I buy a lot of things to maintain my image. I even consider it important to always have my fridge full of LaCroix and coconut water for my pictures. Writing, this makes me realize just how insane it all is. In the same article, she tells about a young woman who photoshopped a whole vacation while going around the world, and the whole time she was in her apartment and nobody knew it. She just photoshopped it, and people thought, what an awesome life. But this Jasmine confessed that she has $3,400 in debt. $3,400 in debt. It is unbelievable. And let's think about this. Let's think about this. One study done by scientists at 2 German universities monitored 584 Facebook users and found 1 out of 3 will feel worse after checking what their friends were up to, especially if those friends just posted vacation photos. And the same study showed that shared content does not have to be explicitly boastful for feelings of envy to emerge. In fact, a lonely user might envy numerous birthday wishes his more sociable peer receives on his Facebook wall. Equally, a friend's change in relationship status from single to in a relationship might cause emotional havoc with someone undergoing a breakup. There is an anti-social movement on the horizon, current executive Amy Colton told Adweek. Moms, especially young moms, are feeling pressured to present a perfect life and starting to feel overwhelmed and annoyed. Is this how we want to live our lives? Do we want to just start to become consumed with what other people are doing? I relate this to reality TV. Maybe we need to begin to look at some things on Facebook and in Twitter, in Instagram, and all the others and say, is this real life? Is this person showing me their real life, or are they just trying to show a side, trying to get a compliment? We all know that individual who is always searching for compliments, who's always looking for things. We all have them on our Facebook page. Is this healthy? What happened to actual human contact? Maybe the problem isn't social media. Maybe the problem relies in us worrying too much about what other people think about us. Maybe the problem is becoming envious over somebody's vacation photo. This should be something we should be like, look at what they got to do. Isn't that wonderful for them? Isn't that great? And be happy in the good things happening in their lives. Be thankful that they're able to do these things instead of being jealous, instead of being upset, instead of being worried about what can I do to top that, or worried about what things we may or may not have. Maybe we begin to think about things. Maybe we need to begin to set up some rules in our own life. Rules that say, you know what, I'm going to only look at Facebook for this amount of time, and I'm only going to do this and this, and I'm not going to allow this to determine how I feel about my self-worth and about who I am. I'll allow the things that I do, my own accomplishments, to determine my self-worth. Everyone is valuable. I am boggled in my mind by how many young people are controlled by what goes on Facebook. In the CNN special, 13-year-olds confessed to checking on Facebook because they were worried about what other people would say about them. One young 13-year-old boy talked about how he went on for over 8 hours sending mean and hurtful messages to one in particular person he was upset with. Others confessed to having a completely double life on Facebook and Twitter compared to what their real life is, because it looks more exciting, because that way they get more likes, more followers. That's not what it's all about. Let's take back social media. Let's take back and begin to allow it to be real life. Don't worry about what other people think about us. Do you realize that in His teachings, Christ commanded that we not worry? That we not worry. That we not worry about collecting the things of this world. Or not even worry about what we're going to eat. Think about that. He says this in Matthew chapter 6, 19 through 16. Or 16 through 19. He says 19 through 34. He says, your eye is a lamp for your body. A pure eye lets sunshine into your soul, and an evil eye shuts out the light and plunges you into darkness. If the light you think you have is really darkness, how deep the darkness is. No one can serve two masters, for they will hate the one and love the others. But he who is devoted to one, or be devoted to one, you cannot serve both God and money. So I tell you, this is where it is, verse 25. So I tell you, don't worry about everyday life. Whether you have enough food to drink and clothes. Doesn't life consist of more than food and clothing? Look at all the birds. They don't need to plant or harvest or put food in barns because your Heavenly Father feeds them. And if you are far more valuable to Him than they are. Can your worries add a single moment to your life? Of course not. And why worry about your clothes? Look at the lilies, how they grow. They don't work or make their clothing, yet Solomon in all his glory was not dressed as beautifully as they were. And if God is so wonderful to the flowers that are here today and gone tomorrow, won't He more surely care for you? You have so little faith. Don't worry about having enough food or drink and clothing. Why be like the pagans who are so deeply concerned about these things? Your Heavenly Father already knows all your needs, and He will give you what you need from day to day if you live for Him and make the kingdom of God your primary concern. Let's think about it. Let's stop worrying about how we look in pictures, about what people will think about us, and let's just begin to live our lives. Begin to live, those of us who go to church, those of us who follow Christ, live for the kingdom. Don't worry about what clothing you have, what cars you drive, what brand names you think you need. Worry about the things that you're thinking about, the things going on inside your heart and your mind, and let the light of God in to change and to guide you. Maybe you don't know God yet. Maybe you say, I don't know about all this. Well, let me give you some advice as well. Stop worrying. Stop worrying about what other people think about you, because it doesn't change a thing. If they like you or dislike you, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we have a God that loves us. What matters is what we think about the things we're doing. Are we living to make a difference in other people's lives, or are we just living because we want to be out there to make ourselves look good and to feel good about ourselves? I think we need to begin to look at things in a little different light. We need to take some time and begin to say, does this even make sense? Does it make sense that somebody's $3,500 in debt just so they look good on social media? Does it make sense that we have 13-year-olds out there spending 8 hours sending hateful messages? Does it make sense? No. Let's begin to use some common sense, some human dignity. Let's begin to show love. Let's begin to as a society, take our young people who maybe aren't nurtured, who maybe are being ignored by others, and just let them know how much they're worth. Just let them know. Life isn't always going to be perfect. Let's maybe show the imperfect side of our lives on social media, to let people know how our lives aren't perfect, and we aren't perfect. Let's show love to people. Let's show who Christ is. Parents, get to know the technology. If your kids are on Twitter and Instagram and all that, you need to know it just as much as they do. You should be following them and watching what they do, teaching them, sharing with them, and letting them know that they are worth a great deal. We need to become focused on the things that are important, the things that actually matter, and not be concerned with what other people think, not be concerned or worried about the things that we might say or do, but just live. Live life. Those of us who are Christians, be more concerned about what God thinks of you. Be concerned. We are told not to be as this world. We are to live for the kingdom of God. So, if you have any more thoughts on this, let me know. It's time for honorable mentions here. Honorable mentions. These are just articles that I've read. I will put links to them below. One of the articles I read that was pretty interesting was written by an Angelina Savek. She's a nun. She wrote Too Pretty to Be a Nun. She talked about how people comment on how she's too pretty and smart to be a nun. It was a pretty interesting article. Another article I read by Trent Ham, 60 Simple Rules for Personal Finance. It's always a good idea to get your finances in order to make sure that you're living without debt. Cash is king. These 60 Simple Rules are pretty good. Take a glance at them. One of my favorite individuals to read, Ed Steitzer wrote an article. This is part 1. I haven't read part 2 yet. It's called "That Stat That Says Pastors Are All Miserable and Want to Quit." He talks about how this is a false stat and how we can play with numbers, and we really need to begin to think about what we're looking at and if it makes sense. I mean, you know, I've always been concerned about this stat because I've seen it on Facebook before, and I've seen it just thrown around, and I just think, man, I am in the minority of pastors. I'm not miserable. I'm not ready to leave the ministry, and I'm not quitting. It says here, I think at one point it said 1,500 pastors are leaving per month. And I thought, man, how are churches even staying open with that many pastors leaving? But it's a great article to read. As I said before, I'm going to put that other article that I used a lot of, Our Double Lives, here as well. I'm going to put a link to that if you want to take some time and read that. It's a very good article, very eye-opening article. As I said before, let's start using some common sense with social media. Let's stop trying to look perfect all the time. I'm not saying that, you know, take a picture of your room when all the clothes are not put away and your bed's not made, but I'm just saying there's no need to look perfect all the time. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I will put all the links below. Also check out CNN's The Secret Life of 13-Year-Olds. I don't know if you can go online and find it. You probably can go online or on demand and take a look at that. It's a real eye-opener, especially if you're a parent of a teenager. I highly suggest you watch it. Please share us. If you like what we're doing, hit the share button. Put us out there on Twitter and Facebook and all the other social media. Hey, I just got done talking about that. But hey, put us out there, let people know what we're doing. Hopefully we'll begin to spread the word and more people will watch. And if you have a comment or a question, put it below. I will try to answer it as quick as possible. Like I said, leave a comment if you like us. Hope you guys have a good week. Subscribe if you like what we're doing. It's always a joy to talk to you guys, and I hope to see you again next week. Till then, bye.